Hello everybody. Thank you for tuning in to this video for my YouTube channel, Robert Cesare DeMario. I say Cesare with great passion, because it's a very cool name. This video is going to be about me being an extroverted, highly sensitive man, and my relationships with women. History of it. I'm doing this video, for education, but this, I'll preface this video. This is kind of like my coming out. Even though, I'm not coming out with like sexuality to like that. I discovered that like I'm gay or something like this, but just this is something that I have not been aware of majority of my life, and it's impacted my relationships with women to the point where I'm single, and I guess I understand why. So this is strictly a learning experience. If you're interested, about learning about something like this, women, I don't know how prevalent highly sensitive men are out there, but if you're ignorant to the term like of an extroverted, highly sensitive person, I'm going to share. This is kind of intimate, but it's me. I needed to do something like this because it's something that is freeing for me. Like, it's a puzzle piece that is me, that has been missing, and really before I was aware of the high sensitivity trait, I didn't really understand what was going on with like women. Now that I've learned, and I'm still in the beginning of an in-depth education on being a highly sensitive man, extroverted, but this is one of the things that clicked, and I'm going to share it. This is going to help me in the future with my relationships with women. A lot of the stuff I'm going to share did not make sense most of my life, and I had untrue like ideas about it, which led to like mental illness and difficulties in relationships with women. So I'm kind of starting over with a new understanding, and I'm going to share this. This is something that like I've had ideas about, but never really understood about myself, and I've always felt bad about myself. So I'll start from the beginning. Like for me, as a kid, there was always an attraction to women. Like I had a crush on one of the girls in kindergarten, and I just felt like a romantic interest with women, very young age. I've always been attracted to like women, and like just how they are girls when I was a kid. As I got older, it was still there, but as I started to, puberty started to set in, and I started to grow up. I've never been like a sexually aggressive type person, especially with like women. I don't have like that. I'm not a sexually aggressive person. I'm somebody that I don't like to be overly aggressive with women. Intuitively, I feel like that's disrespectful to their boundaries. And like I had this like conflict growing up. Like I was starting to learn about having sex or with women, and then I would start to hear about like ideas from like the women in my family, how men were just not interested in being romantic women. They were just looking for, just a sexual relationships, and how disgusting that was. So, I got that message early on, and I'm like, I kind of had in my head that, like, I don't, I need to be romantic with a woman if they're going to like me. And, I can't just be, like, interested in them from a physical perspective. Just because of the messages that I got growing up from, like, people in my family, and, they're negative, my aunts, uncles, cousins. Men are disgusting. All they want is sex, and it's just like, I just, like, they don't ever respect me. Like, I picked up on that message very early. So, I'm like, it was like, for me, it's like, I can't, like, be interested in a woman, like, physically. If I'm interested in a woman physically, they're not gonna like me, or they're gonna hate me. So I kind of had that. So I picked up on, like, very early from, like, the women in my family that, it's, if you're going to be interested in a woman, you want to be, like, romantic. You want to be more than just, like, fucking. I had just, like, a very negative idea about fucking at an early age. And I'm like, so, like, as a kid or growing up, it's like, I better not ever want to try to fuck a woman. That's, like, the thing I had in my head. But there was more to it. Like, that was, there was more to it than that for me. So as I grew up and went into high school, in such, I had my crushes and stuff, but, like, I was, like, afraid to be open about, like, being sexually attracted to girls I had crushes on. And I thought initially it was because of just, like, the communication that I had gotten from, like, the women in my family. So I was very nervous. I felt like if I expressed interest in, like, a woman, just from a physical perspective, I would get rejected. Because, they would look at me, like, as a lesser man. And, so that was, like, a cover, though, for what, like, really was with me. So, like, I'm starting to, like, see myself as different from other guys who were just teenagers and stuff. I was in high school, they were looking to fuck people. They were looking to fuck women and this. And, like, me, I had that idea that I had learned from family and stuff, but what would happen with me, and I never understood it. I'm understanding it now, but, like, me as a guy, for just being, like, just very sensitive and not sexually aggressive, I was afraid of having sexual feelings for a woman, and I never understood why. I was very intimidated by, like, women that I was attracted to. So, I was very shy, and I was very, like, just really was afraid that, like, if I showed, like, a girl that I was sexually interested in her, she was going to hate me and reject me. So there was an insecurity there. And I wasn't somebody that was sexually active in high school. I had, gonna go back to, like, freshman year in high school. So there was a lot of girls that I found beautiful. I would look at and be like, these girls are absolutely gorgeous. And I would look at them with, like, a puppy love, or just like just in awe of how beautiful, like, I found, like, just women, like, or girls just beautiful. And there was this one girl in my freshman class who I thought was absolutely, like, gorgeous. I was in class with her. Like, I was, just all I would do was look at her in class because of just how, like, beautiful she was. She was absolutely, like, gorgeous to me. And that's when I had my really first heartbreak. this girl, we were freshmen. I was sitting, we were getting out of class, and one of her friends comes up to me and says, you know, my friend thinks you're cute and really likes you. And like when I heard that, like butterflies went over or hearts went over my head, and you know, I was like in love. It was the first time I was like really in love with somebody. You know, it's just in love with like their looks and stuff, and then you know, then like when I thought that person liked me, it just made my feelings intensify. So I would just look at this girl more, and then just one day in class, this girl isn't looking at me, I'm looking at her. Freshman year, I was a new kid too, so I didn't know anybody. She didn't know me, but I was very, you know, just, she gives me the finger and like isn't looking at me, and it was, you know, it just like it was, I just got like absolutely crushed, and I felt like a fool, you know, because I was naive. I didn't know like women could do something like that. You know, I thought like if a woman said, or like somebody communicated to you that like they liked you, that meant that it really was. But you know, it was her way. She, you know, I can understand from a woman's perspective now that, you know, when guys look at you constantly, it can be creepy or it can be annoying. And you know, I think just like she had enough of it. But you know, that was a very devastating heartbreak for me, and it really, you know, like it's not something where like I hate this person. It was a good lesson for me as to that, you know, to understand that you know, the people that you like or the people you're interested in aren't always going to reciprocate that. And sometimes they could be cruel about it. So, you know, I learned like humility from that. You know, I don't have like just this vendetta or something like that. It really was the starting experience of like understanding that like some women, you know, will emotionally manipulate you and look to crush you. You know, which I understand it's usually because of like some type of low self-esteem, and you know, they're looking to feel powerful. So, you know, you know, take women out of the equation, but people with low self-esteem don't always make nice choices in terms of other people. They do things to make themselves feel better at the expense of other people. You know, so I look at it that, but it was definitely the start of like me being very confused about women and being like, I don't know like what to believe, like really just I guess starting with like trust issues, being like, wow, why would somebody say they like me when they don't mean it? You know, because like I couldn't understand it, because if I like somebody, I'm gonna tell them I like them, express them. I'm not gonna hide. I'm not gonna lie about my like. For that, but you know, it's the cruelty of the, you know, the game of love, and just women can be cruel sometimes, you know, just for whatever reasons, but you know, that really was a great learning experience. I mean, it started, but you know, I wanted to say that and then go back to, excuse me, with me being you know, wasn't aware that I was a highly sensitive person or had the high sensitivity trait, but with me, I was somebody that was afraid to have sex with women, and I didn't understand why. You know, it's not because of just the message, you know, that I was afraid that I'd get rejected if I express sexual interest, and you know, just I thought it would be labeled as somebody as, you know, just I don't know, like disgusting or just like whatever, you know. yeah, I was somebody that was afraid to be to have sex, and as I went through high school, girls started being more interested in me. I had a couple girls interested in me, and I was like, I wasn't. They were more interested in me than I was interested in them. But like I would get a lot of hazing from guys to be like, you have women interested in you, you can fuck them, you go and fuck them. What the fuck is your problem, Robert? Like you got a girl begging for you, and I was just like, no, I didn't, and like I never understood why, why I was, and it as I went through high school and into college, that didn't change, and then like I really started getting insecure about it, because I was having interest from girls. Like girls really were really interested in me, and I just like I like anybody who was interested in me, I pushed away from, and then I would do to cope with it. I would be interested in women who weren't interested in me. It's like women's interest was very intimidating to me, and it's like it was not like I never felt like it was mutual, but it's like I was just like I was very like afraid of it. So as I started doing psychology, I wanted to understand that more, and I'm like I thought like I was like molested or something. Like, well, why am I afraid to have sex with women? I'm like, was I molested as a kid, and that's why I'm afraid of it? And then that's something that got in my mind, and it wasn't true. It wasn't true, but it was just like I didn't know how to understand what was going on, at the time. So I thought like, I thought I was weird because I was afraid to have sex, and I thought like there was something wrong with me. I'm like, all men are like really wanting to have sex with women, and it's like I'm afraid to. So there's something wrong with me. Something happened, and I went, and then I had I lost my grandfather, had trauma. And then, that idea, like, something like I was molested or some type of sexual abuse happened when I was a child, really took shape and form. It was like I thought I had like unresolved trauma from it, and it really set me off. But the reality of it is now, looking back, I'm going to go to now because I understand what happened from that period of time, and this is something that I still deal with. There was no education that I was I had the high sensitivity trait, but like as a man, when I'm having sex, I understand like now why I was afraid, and now I'm still afraid even to this day of like having sex with women. It's because it's not physical for me. For me, being a highly sensitive person, I have awareness now, and I understand there's a lot of emotion that goes into sex with me. It's like, and I would have never been able to pick it up, but like when I'm having sex with somebody, I'm absorbing like their trauma, their past and stuff, like the energy from that, and it gets so overwhelming. And then my own emotions, which are very powerful, like there's been so many times that I've never understood why this happened. I thought it was happening like it's the emotions that I feel are so powerful when you're getting like emotions when you're getting romantic and stuff, and I become like paralyzed. Sometimes for me to like fully go through, having sex with somebody is very difficult because it's just there's so much emotion. I get overloaded to the point where like I you know it's you know I can't be touched. I need to stop, you know, because it's just I'm just in like overload, just because of how intense like my emotions are, and then I'm you know sharing emotions from another person, and it's just like, ugh. You know, nobody prepared me for this. There was no education for this. I didn't understand this for the majority of my life, and I really thought like there was some type of sexual trauma, but there isn't. I mean, this is just part of being a highly sensitive man. Like, and you know, I went. I waited for my first time with my first love, and it was absolutely amazing. But you know, I didn't understand any of this shit was going on, and you know like what happened is it ended up like causing us to like not connect, you know. Plus, I had other stuff going on, you know. It was just not, you know, I kind of like distance and pushed myself away because at the time I didn't understand what was going on. I'm just like I need fucking space. And then I thought there was just so much stuff going on. So, you know, we broke up, me and my first love. And I was very brokenhearted about that, even though like we're civil and stuff. You know, I went into a place, like a twofold place where I'm like, you know, I'm not going to be romantic with somebody. I'm just going to make this about physical needs for me. And I went and you know, it was a struggle. I would have women, I would go out to bars, and I'd have women buying drinks for me, which I wasn't able to see, but like if a woman, it's the same thing. Like if a man's buying drinks for a woman, they're trying to get him drunk to take him to have sex. I'm going out to bars with friends and stuff. Women are buying me shots. Like I would go out like with friends and like to college with no money, and like women would buy my drinks all the night, and then you know what, like I wouldn't take them home, you know, because I'm like, sex is intense, you know. It's not like I am not somebody that really could experience just like a purely physical type thing with a woman. So I felt weird, and I didn't understand that. And then, you know, I'd have women just being like interested in me, and I'd have like a guarded interest. Like I had times when I'd go and communicate with women I found beautiful. They would be, like I'm trying to think of it, like I'd say, you know, something, and then they would just be very receptive to it. And they want to communicate, they want to give number, and Robert's like, you know, I can't, like, you know, beautiful women like scare me, you know, especially if they're interested in me, because, you know, it's just like intense. And this is all stuff that I felt very bad about myself. I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like I have women interested in me, and like I'm afraid of them. And it's like, I understand now. I'm not like, I'm just afraid to be overwhelmed or overloaded by like people, or women especially, you know. And you know, it's just been very traumatic for me, because, you know, when I have been in intimate moments with women, I've never been able to explain what was going on, and I felt just embarrassed. You know, it's really, you know, it's happened to just impair my ability to have like, you know, a quote unquote normal type like sexual experience. It's, you know, it's just, there's so much emotion that comes into it, and then it's like I'm taking in like the emotions, the trauma of these people. You know, there was a time when I was just doing physical, where I did, you know, where like, you know, getting drunk with women, you know, and then, you know, that fear goes away and it just becomes a physical thing, and then I'm having physical, just purely physical things with women, and it is absolutely just destroying me, because I'm having like intense sexual experiences with strangers, and I'm taking on their their trauma, the people that they've been with, and like it really it ended up leading me to having to get help. I wasn't aware of this all the time. I just went a very promiscuous stage after me and my first love broke up. I was hurt, because it was over, and there was a part of me that's like, I'm gonna hurt her. I'm gonna go and be, I'm gonna have sex with as many women as I can to hurt her. That was very immature, and I don't know, but I knew her well enough to know that probably did hurt her on some level. So yeah, it's I am single right now because I'm healing from past traumas, but like. I want to communicate this in the future when I'm looking to be committed. I'm not somebody who has ever been good at just doing one night stands or a physical, just purely sexual meaningless pleasure. I'm not wired to do that, and now I understand why. I'm grateful because, ignorance to this, just me, how I am sexually, and then just having I really got a lot of trauma just from not understanding this about myself. And it's I've never been able to comfortably communicate with a woman to be look, I take, I've never been able to, explain something like this. And I understand, so, I'm happy, I understand, and, it's, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, am I completely unique, in the fact that, I'm not somebody that can do, meaningless pleasure with a stranger. I've never really been able to do that. When I have, it's really had negative consequences on me emotionally, just because I absorb. You're in an intimate moment, and you're thinking it's physical, and then you're absorbing it's really hard for me to explain too, I guess, but it's I'm absorbing the traumas, the energies, the partners of the people I'm with, and I was in no way prepared to deal with something like that, nor was I educated, but it's caused me to just be single, and now I'm awareness is taking away the ignorance, and it's something I look. But I look, and I'm absolutely afraid for a woman to be interested in me, just because it can be overwhelming emotionally. Women can be very intense when they're interested in you, and right now I'm not in a place to handle being extremely overloaded. I'm still learning about this, but I understand I go for people who aren't really interested in me, just because I don't have to deal with somebody liking me. When a girl likes me, if it's especially if it's mutual, I'm kind of afraid of too, just because how intense I am. It's just I'm just learning just how easily I get overloaded. So it's yeah, I definitely understand. I've just really never understood, like, why I was like afraid to to have sex with a woman. But I do now. It is just like just going over and reiterating, because this video is almost over. But it's just it's how like powerful emotions are and how intense they are, and how just like easily I absorb them and get overloaded and overwhelmed to the point where, like, I'll be completely honest, I get so overwhelmed emotionally when I'm in like that mode, like I can't perform. Like, it just overpowers my body so much where it's like my body like shuts off, like including all parts of me. And I've had to deal with the embarrassment of that. I've thought, like, I was having erectile dysfunction, and I'm not. I thought I was. I'm like, why am I not able to get aroused? And it's absolutely embarrassing. And then, women take that to heart too. They feel like, they're ugly, and I really feel horrible about that. And like, I just never been able to explain something like that. I had ideas which were very damaging. I thought, like, this was happening because I was molested or something like that, and I definitely wasn't. I didn't have any sexual trauma when I was a kid. It's just how intense emotions I feel when I'm in the heat of passion with somebody, where I just shut down because I get overloaded, I can't handle everything that I'm feeling, or, I'm just like, sometimes I'm just like, please, you can't touch me. Like, I am just in a place where I'm just so overloaded where, like, if somebody touches me, it causes me to just feel like, I can't handle it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. This is something that I go through being a highly sensitive person. When I'm overloaded, I'm just like, my senses are just so tuned where I can't handle anything. It's just overload. And then it happens, a lot with sex. So, that's really been like why I'm not with somebody. I mean, other things too. I've never been able to, like, women aren't capable of understanding something like that unless, you can explain it to them. And I've never been able to explain it. So it's always led to just, women not understanding me, or like thinking something that's untrue of me. So, I'll look to change it in future. But it feels good. Like, I have a lot of trauma from being this way, feeling horrible about myself because I'm not, like, I'm afraid to have sex with a woman, and I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with me? Why am I now I understand. And this is something that I deal with as a highly sensitive person. I've had a lot of women really like me and really want to be have sex with me and have a relationship, and I've really pushed away from that, because I don't know, maybe women can relate to that, where you have somebody like really interested, intense, and it's just too much. Maybe women can relate to that. I don't know. But this video is over. I wanted to share this because, now that I'm starting to understand more about myself, this will be something that will be part of changes for the good with me and my relationships with women. So, yeah, that's my story with being a highly sensitive, extroverted man, and my relationships with women. The other thing that I'll say, I talked about my first real heartbreak, and then that girl manipulating me. I've dealt with that a lot in online dating, where girl with low self-esteem they read like me and just emotional, they're like, I can get him to fall in love with me. I just, women can pick up on it. They're very, some women, not all, but like some women with low self-esteem are very predatory, and they need a power trip, and they want to manipulate you like a naive with low self-esteem into falling in love with them. I've experienced that type of manipulation majority of my life, and it's been pretty damaging, and it's caused me to become like a rude asshole sometimes. Like now, like if a woman does that, I'm like, who the fuck you fooling with? Like, go some other place, and I'm very rude and belligerent to them, because it's like, it's just been like, it can be very confusing with women. I don't know, like, guys don't do something like that, and I've experienced like where, and I understand it, because I'm a psych major, and I just kind of understand the psychology of it, but like for the longest time, it's like, it really caused me to not like women at all, just because it's like, it doesn't feel good to be manipulated into falling in love with somebody and then not reciprocating it. It can be very damaging. There's consequence, and for me, I've sadly, and I'll work on changing this, but it's changed me to be very negative and jaded and skeptical and about women, and to be single. I've let a few speak for them all, and I'll work on healing and changing that from them, But you know what, like for me too, it's like, now that I understand what's going on with me, I'm not gonna have to deal with that ever again. I mean, right now I'm just like, I'm a war veteran, so it's like I know. I read things very quickly. I can tell like if a woman is looking to do that to me, very easily. And I'm an asshole. Like I play stupid, and I sucker them in, and then I thump them with verbal abuse. Like I'm somebody that, I'm a Venus flytrap. I pretend like I'm, gullible and stuff, because I can play gullible, and then, it's like, so it's a wasted, I don't need to do that anymore. I did, I was in a place of, where I wanted vengeance for how, like, I was treated, but, I don't want to abuse women. I don't want to cause them to feel horrible. I don't, I think women are amazing for the most part. I'm just afraid to have sex with them. Well, it's like, it's an intense experience. It's not something that's like physical for me, and never has. I've tried to make it like physical, but I have too much emotion. So yeah, that's this video on extroverted, highly sensitive person that I am in my relationships with women, or lack thereof. I mean, no, but like I have a lot of women friends. And I like having women friends, because generally women who are my friends don't want to have sex with me. So I feel like comfortable. It's like the minute that you come on with that type of attraction or interest, I'm afraid. Because it's like I don't want to feel overloaded. So I don't know, this knowledge is power, so we'll go from there. Thanks for tuning in. If you did, I really appreciate it. Give it a like if you got something from it. This is my coming out video. And thank you so much for watching if you did. More to come. Bye.